I'm here at halfway point of our joint mission from Mozambique, Zimbabwe to Malawi, the three countries affected by Cyclone Idai. I wanted to come here to see firsthand the impact of climate change in the three countries, a phenomenon that the population of these countries had no hand in creating. But the climate change effects are exacerbated, the risk faced by already extremely vulnerable population. Here in Zimbabwe, our visit comes at a critical juncture as the country recovers from the impact of Cyclone Idai and continues to suffer from severe drought and chronic economic challenges. Millions of people across the country are struggling to get by. The poorest are bearing the brunt of the compounded shocks, and years of developmental gains are at great risk of being reversed. We visited Chimanimani yesterday to see the impact of the cyclone and the humanitarian response. The loss of life, the level of destruction of property and livelihoods are devastating. It is heartbreaking. Sadly, nearly 3 months after the cyclone's landfall, over hundreds are still missing. Thousands of people remain displaced in camps and host communities, and the damage to livelihood has increased the chronic food insecurity situation already present. I talked to many people who are displaced, many women, people who lost everything. And while I could see how resilient and strong they are, some women are even starting small businesses inside of the camp, as a woman called Kuda, who is growing chickens. And those people are particularly vulnerable and they need support to get back to their normal lives. As the cold sets in, ahead of the rainy season in July, August, protection risks are increasingly high and remain unaddressed. Efforts to help populations rebuild their homes in areas that are less flood prone and resume their livelihoods as quickly as possible must be expedited to avert a deterioration of the humanitarian situation. But unfortunately, the cyclone is only one of the challenges. The late and erratic rainfall and its impact on the food production, compounded by the economic situation and the recent price rises, could further increase the level of food insecurity. Initial estimates based on the assessment of the current trends of the agricultural production indicate that over 6 million people would require humanitarian assistance until the next harvest in April 2020. Rising food insecurity is, however, just the tip of the iceberg. People are struggling to buy medicines and access healthcare. This is particularly distressing for people living with HIV, who face the double dilemma of being unable to access drugs, and even if they can access them, not being able to properly absorb them on an empty stomach. In the initial stages of the response to Cyclone Idai, the government, private sector, and humanitarian partners came together to provide critical assistance to more than 230,000 people. 3 months on, the United Nations and its partners have received 40% of funds they appealed for to respond to the impact of Cyclone Idai. However, the overall humanitarian appeal remains critically underfunded. The humanitarian appeal asks for 294 million US dollars. This is required to address life-saving needs of cyclone and drought-affected populations. We had the opportunity to meet with the President and various government ministers this morning, where we discussed these challenges. While the government has plans to put in place measures to protect the most vulnerable, humanitarian partners across the country recognize the gravity of the situation and are striving to do more. We need the international community to stand with the people of Zimbabwe and urgently provide the funds needed to scale up humanitarian efforts and avert a further deterioration of the situation. Thank you.
For these and other stories, visit our website www.263chat.com. Follow us on Twitter @263chat and like our Facebook page 263chat.